All right, so here is 6.2, central tendency and dispersion. So we want to do some calculation, and you have done this before, where we have a data set and we can see where does this data set, where does this number, what is the center? That's why we call it central. What is the center of this data set? Where does it tend to go? What number does it tend to go to? So we want to find this central tendency of a data set. And we talked about there's only 3 measures of central tendency, which is the mean, the median, and the mode. We learned this in 7th grade, mean, median, and mode. And then we have measure of dispersion, which means how spread out the data is. We want to see how it dispersed, how far from each other the numbers are, or what is the spread of the data. So that is the range. Okay, we want to see what is the range of the values. Okay, so the measure of tendency, central tendency, are 3 of them, and the measure of dispersion for here, for this course, at this time, we're only going to deal with range. All right, so let's see the definition for each of them that we talked in class, how to do. A lot of them we forgot. So how do we find the mean? Another word for mean is average. We use more the word average than we use the word mean. But the average is you add all values, so you add all values, and you divide by how many, the total number, how many values exist, okay? So if I add all the values and divide by how many are there, or the total number of values, I'll find the average or the mean, okay? And then we talk about the median. The median, we first need to, you must put the data in order from least to greatest. That's the first thing I have to do. And once I put the data in order from least to greatest, I can find the middle, okay, middle. That is the middle value. And that's what we're looking for. The median, mid, is the middle value. But first, it must be put the data in order, okay? The mode is what is the value that occurs the most. I'm going to put most in MO, because that goes with mode, okay? MO, most, mid, middle, must be in order, and the mean, you add all the values and you divide by how many values are there, the total number of values that are there, okay? This is what we did before. The range, it is really easy to find the range if you already found the measure of central tendency. These are the measure of central tendency, and this is the measure of dispersion. All I have to do is find the highest value and subtract the lowest value, okay, the lowest, and I will know what the range is. So if you have them in order, it's easy to tell which one was the smallest and which one was the largest, and you can just subtract and find the range, okay? Now, when do we use, which one of these is the best measure to represent a data set? When to use the best measure to represent a data set? We want to use the mean to represent a data set. If someone asks me, I have these values over here, what is the best way I should summarize it and represent it? I would represent it with the mean. I would say, hey, the average height of the students in my class is 5.6, 5 feet 6. Because the mean is nice when you have no outliers, okay? When you don't have a value that really stands out. So I would always use the mean if I can, if I don't have an outlier. If I have an outlier, the best thing to do is use the median, because the median is the middle of the data. So if you have an outlier and the outlier totally affects the average, then I want to use the median, because the median is the middle of the data, is the center of the data. We are not going to use the mode very often. The mode is if I had a data set that it had a value, a specific value that occurs the most. If I had a value that repeated a lot, if I measured the height of everyone in my class and I kept on getting 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, lots of students that were 5 feet tall, then I would use the mode to represent the data set, okay? And I'm pretty sure the mean would be close to 5 feet, but because there were a lot of 5s, I would use the mode. But the best measure of central tendency is the mean if I don't have an outlier. So if there is no outlier, I'm always going to go with the mean to represent and summarize a data set. Okay? That's what we talked about in class, and that's all we're going to be calculating. So let's take an example here, and that is your example number 1. Okay, your problem number 1 on your worksheet 2. It says you have $4, $14, $15, $20, and $15. Let's find the mean, the median, and the mode. Okay? So to finding the mean, all we have to do is add them. 4 plus 14 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15. And we're going to divide by how many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 values. Don't try to guess. Use the calculator. Okay? I have a 4 plus a 14 plus a 15 plus a 20 plus a 15. If you add them all up, equals 68. Okay, this equals 68, and I'm dividing by 5. Divided by 5 equals 13.6. Let me check one more time. Okay, I like to double check my math. I have a 4 plus 14 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15. That is 68. When you divide it by 5, you get 13.6. So I double check. Does not hurt to double check. The calculator gives me my value. So the mean of this is 13.6. The median, I must put it in order. So I'm going to rewrite my data set. I'm going to have a 4. I am going to ignore the dollar values for now. So a 4, the smallest number after that is a 14, and then the 15, and then the 15 again, I have to repeat it, and then the 20. Okay, then we put it in order. Then the median is the middle. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So I have 2 on the bottom and 2 here on the top. So the middle would be my number 15. So there you go. The median is 15. The mode is the one that happens the most. And we can see that the one that happens the most was 15. So the mode would be 15. It happened twice. So that is how you find the mean, median, and mode. Look at how the mean is kind of close to the median. Okay, there usually are. They're usually the mean, the average, and the median are kind of close to each other. Sometimes they happen to be so close, it's almost the same. Now, Ms. Myers, what happened if I had an even number of values? Okay, now if I had 4, 14, 15, let's do 15 again. Let's do 20, and let's do 22. Okay, have an even number. So you divide it in the middle, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. We don't have a middle number. So all you have to do is add the two numbers together, 15 by 15 divided by 2. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is still 15. Okay? So whenever you don't have a precise identified middle, you always add the two numbers and divide it by 2. That's when you have an even number of data set. What is the best measure for this data here, the original problem number 1? Well, I don't have an outlier, okay? And because I don't have an outlier, I will always go with the mean. So the best measure is the mean, okay? If they ask me why, because there is no outlier. So I can say that the average price here, number of dollars is spent on something, is about $13.60. Okay, so if we were talking about an average of something, I would definitely use the mean instead of the median. Now, number 5 on your homework says the numbers are given to you. There's this score of 14, 10, 17, 9, and a certain number. When I added them all together and divided by how many are there, I got the mean of 14. So let's actually set up this, okay? So if I get 14 plus 10 plus 17 plus 9 plus x, and I divide it by how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get that the mean is 14. So can we work backwards to figure out what x is? Absolutely. Let's add these numbers together. 14 plus 17. Let's use our calculator. I have 14 plus 10 plus 17 plus 9. And that equals 50. Okay, so all these numbers here together, it's 50 plus my x that I have no clue what it is. When we divide that by 5, we get 14. Now let's solve for x. We want to get rid of the 5. So let's multiply both sides of the equation by 5. Let's multiply here by 5, and let's multiply here by 5. So when I multiply and divide by 5, they cancel each other. Okay, so it will undo each other, so they're done. And 14 times 5 is 70. So you have 50 plus x equals 70. Now it's easy for me to solve. Let's move up here. 50 plus x equals 70. Then all I have to do is subtract 50 from both sides, and then we get x all alone. 70 minus 50 is 20. So that number must be a 20. Okay, and if you want to check, add them all up with the 20 divided by 5, and you should get 14. Okay, always check your value. It doesn't hurt to check. You will know if your answer is right or wrong. So if you add all this, 14 plus 10 plus 17 plus 9 plus 20, and divide it by 5, you will get 14. Okay, that's how you do it when you want to know what is a value in a data set. Okay, and the last thing I want to cover on this video is create a line plot. Okay, sometimes I like to call this a dot plot. Okay, I call it a dot plot sometimes because we're going to use exactly what it says. I like to call it a dot plot. Okay, so or a line plot is fine. Okay, so I have these numbers here. Okay, I was going to do a number in your homework, but I want to do something a little bit smaller. So I have these numbers right here: 5, 6, 10, 9, 9, 10, 5, 10, 6, 9. And I want to create a line plot. A line plot, you need a line, okay, and you need a little vertical here, almost exactly like a histogram. Okay, now let's create a small little frequency table here. Okay, the numbers and the frequency. And let's do it ungrouped because we don't have a whole lot of numbers. The smallest number I have is a 5. So let's start with the smallest, is a 5. The 5 happened once, twice. The 5 happened twice. And then the next number is a 6. The 6 happened once, twice. There we go. And then the next smallest number is a 7. Do I have a 7? We don't have a 7, so we skip 7. No frequency for 7. 7 did not appear. Do we have an 8? So there is no 8. 0 for 8 as well. Do we have a 9? We sure do, right? We have 1, 2, 3 number 9s. And the last one we have is a 10. And the 10 happened 1, 2, 3. It also happened 3. So notice, I don't skip only 5, 6, 9, 10. I will actually include 7 and 8 so I can have a consistency. Remember I told you the intervals have to be the same size, even if you only have a number that stands alone. You include them all from 5 through 10. Now I can create my line plot. I'm going to put the number on my horizontal axis. I'm going to put the number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The frequency was only from 0 to 2 and then to 3. So let's do 1, 2, 3. It does not hurt if I put 4 or 5. It does not hurt because I'm not going to use it anyway. Now I'm going to use a dot or a little X mark, and that is what a line plot is. The number 5 appeared twice, so I'm going to put one dot, another dot to show appear twice. Some people like to use axes, just a little X right there. That works as well. The number 6 appeared 2 times, so let's use little X's. 1, 2. So I go as high as the number 2. The number 7 appears 0 times, so we leave it blank. The number 8, 0 times, so we leave it blank. The number 9 appeared 3 times, so we're going to put 1, 2, 3 axes or dots. And then number 10 also appeared 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And there you go. That is a dot plot or a line plot. Your book calls it a line plot, and it uses little axes, okay, a little X to mark it. I have seen many times just as a dot, so it doesn't matter. Either way is fine. So you don't make a bar, you just use little dots or X's to mark the frequency of that number. Just by looking over here, if I didn't see this frequency table and I didn't see the data set, I can tell you by just looking at the line plot that the number 5 appeared twice, the number 6 appeared twice, there is no 7 or 8, the 9 and 10 appeared 3 times. Just by looking over here, I can go from here and create this frequency table. And I can go from here and create this line. So I can, a line plot, a graph, shows everything I need to know about a data set. What shape would this make? Well, if I was to visualize this as little bars, and you can kind of like pretend that they're bars. If I was to visualize this as bars, it's definitely not symmetric, okay? Because if I was to separate right in the middle, these 2 bars are shorter than these 2 bars. So it's definitely not symmetric. Is somewhat of uniform. The bars are kind of the same height. So if I was to pick a shape, I would not say symmetric. Maybe skewed, but it doesn't look like it's skewed because it does not have a specific peak. I would pick uniform because it's kind of like all the numbers kind of showed up about the same, 2, 2, and 3, 3, so there's only 1 off. So I would pick roughly uniform. I would not pick skewed, and I would not pick symmetric at all. So you only have 3 choices to pick from. Okay? It's asking me to find the mean and the median. In order to find the median, we need to put it in order. So let's find the mean of these numbers. Let's add them all together, which would be 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 6 plus 9. And then we're going to divide by how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Divided by 10. So let's go ahead and do that carefully. I have a plot of 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus 9 twice plus 10 plus 5 plus 10 and 6 is 16 and plus 9. And I get 79. 79 divided by 10 is 7.9. So there is my mean, that's my average. Now, if I was to find the median, I need to put the data set in order. So order first, from least to greatest. So the 5 comes first. How many 5s are there? There are 2 of them. So 5, 5, 2, 6, so 6, 6, no 7, no 8, 3 9s, 1, 2, 3, and 3 10s, 1, 2, 3. From my frequency table, I already did all the hard work. It's so easy to line them up, okay? Let's see how many numbers we have there. We have 10, right? So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the top. That means there is no middle. I have to find my own middle. That is 9 plus 9 divided by 2, which is just 9. So the median is 9. The mean is 7.9. Which one is the greatest? Well, the median. The median is greater, okay? So that is how you calculate your mean, your median, your mode. The mode here would be none, okay? Here's an extra little hint that I just thought of it. What is the mode? They didn't ask that, but let's talk about it. Because the 10 and the 9 occur the same amount of time, there is no mode, okay? The mode is one value that appears the most. Because there was a tie, there is no mode. Okay? Because there was a tie, there is no mode. Okay? And that concludes your 6.2, practicing mean, median, and mode. And I just did a frequency table again to practice. A line plot, you use your little X's instead of bars. And that's about it. Okay? That's your practice for 6.2. And good luck. Come and ask me for help.